Oi, pessoal! Aqui a Heleninha Pontes, aonde?
Aqui em Portugal.
Em Portugal.
Lisboa, né?
Estamos em Lisboa. E hoje a gente vai fazer um passeio muito especial. Nós vamos fazer um tour gastronômico.
A gente vai provar comidas das casinhas, comidas típicas daqui.
Então quer vir com a gente?
Sim!
A nossa guia Thaís acabou de explicar pra gente que essa região toda aqui foi destruída pelo tsunami, um terremoto que teve em 1755 e toda a parte da cidade que era no nível do mar foi destruída. E foi reconstruída pelo Marquês de Pombal. Então é tudo simétrico aqui, os dois lados da cidade são iguaizinhos, a parte que foi reconstruída. Ela mostrou pra gente o palácio que o Marquês de Pombal fez pro rei, só que ele não quis morar lá porque ele estava traumatizado. E ele acabou morrendo antes da reconstrução do palácio novo dele. Não é mesmo, Helena? Vamos mostrar então? Vamos mostrar onde que seria o palácio que ele não quis morar. Olha, essa torrezinha aqui era o palácio do rei. Pra ficar simétrico, o Marquês de Pombal construiu este outro palácio aqui do lado. Só que ele não quis morar em nenhum dos dois. Né, Kátia? Vamos começar aqui o nosso tour. Nós temos o Andrew da Polônia. Vamos andando, Kátia. Estamos subindo aqui pela Rua Augusta. Pega o papai, vai no colo do papai, Kátia. Mamãe tá filmando. Vamos seguir, a gente tá tudo pra trás. E nesse super passeio nós vamos conhecer 5 restaurantes. Vamos andar durante 3 horas e meia pela cidade. Experimentando os pratos típicos daqui, né?
What is interesting to pay attention here is how all the buildings are kind of the same. They really look like, and this is Pombalini style. And they are like that because Marquês de Pombal decided that if the buildings were the same, it would be easier to reconstruct the city because he could get the same windows, the same doors, the same rocks, everything on the same size, and this makes the reconstruction of this part of the city really faster. Yeah. Every street of this neighborhood has a name of something you can trade. So in this case, we are in Correiros Street, and Correiros in Portuguese means people that work with leather, belts, shoes. So this is two of shoes. And then there is Funkeiros, that is people that works with cutlery and iron. In Portuguese, it's different from Brazil. Yeah. And Gold Street, Silver Street, so it was basically materials that you can trade because people were a bit afraid to come back. And like this, he made this the mall of the city, and it was registered as one of the oldest center of shopping in Europe because of that. Because you could come here and you find everything you needed. I would say this elevator was constructed by the same designer of the Eiffel Tower, but this is not true. The designer is Portuguese, and he would admire the study of the Eiffel Tower designer. But that's why there is the same iron and a lot of ornaments that look like, but it's not a French elevator, it's Portuguese. And on the right side we can see that there is a really big line, so never get this line. Have you guys go up? Yes. Was a big line?
Pra cruzar?
Pra ir pra cima? No? No. Okay, that's good. Because normally there is a really big line. Sometimes people wait 2 hours. And the way you can skip that is if you go to the ruins of Carmo behind, and then there is a bridge that goes to the top of it. Yeah, you got that. And from the bridge you don't get a line, you pay €1 or something to go, and you can see the point of view. And right under the bridge there is a bar called Topo Bar with really good drinks that you can stay there and have a really good drinks, seeing the view. So it's really nice. That lately didn't be closed because of gentrification, because it's happening really heavily here. So these stores that I told you that they used to be here, they are not there anymore because on the last year 50 hotels were open only on that area, and these stores are closing and becoming restaurants. This store is a 4th generation store with the best ingredients from Portugal. So Portuguese people come here to buy things to make a dinner at home. You don't eat here normally, but we managed to try one of the best things that they have, so we can have a bit of a taste of what this store offers us. Yeah, but we're gonna be here. If you guys wanna check inside, feel free to go.
A gente aprendeu aqui que como muitos hotéis estão vindo pra cá, pra essa região central, essas lojas antigas, tradicionais, de comida típica, estão sendo expulsas do centro e estão fechando. E a gente veio numa loja aqui, chamada Manteigaria Silva, que já está na 4ª geração. E vamos experimentar. Ela disse que aqui é onde as pessoas compram os ingredientes para fazer em casa, jantar com peixe, tudo, frutos do mar. E a gente vai experimentar agora. Ela vai trazer aqui pra gente o primeiro prato. Ela tá montando aqui a nossa mesinha de degustação, né, filha? Aí parece um presunto palha, parece queijo com goiabada ali. Vamos ver o que mais tem.
A blusinha aqui. Eu quero comer uma coisa aqui.
Quer comer alguma coisa aqui? Você quer comer? Você quer comer alguma coisa aqui?
Como sempre, né, minha filha?
Just a little bit about what we're gonna eat, because then you have more words in your mouth, more taste in your mouth than words in your head. And then after that, I'll explain a bit better. So we're going to have a cheese from Açores, where you're from, São José cheese.
Queijo do Açores.
And on the top, Queen's marmalade, which is marmelada.
Ah, então marmelada. Não
Yes.
tem goiabada, não é marmelada. Então,
No.
queijo do Açores com
And then
marmelada.
black pork from the south of Portugal, Alentejo.
Ah, então essa porquinha.
And this bread is my favorite thing. This bread is made by a Portuguese family every day outside of Lisbon in a wood oven, made with rye, wheat, and a bit of corn, which makes sweet, and a bit denser like Portuguese bread it is. And the wine is a tawny wine from Porto. Okay, so you guys can attack, and I'll be back.
Pode pegar um. Esse é um porquinho, um presuntinho. Vamos ver o que você acha. Dá pra cá experimentar. Quer experimentar um pedacinho do presunto? Não?
Deixa
Não gosta?
Não.
E aí, Heleninha, que tal? Passa pra uma, já sei que você não vai comer tudo, já passa pra cá.
Okay, I'll go inside and I come back. Maybe I'll...
Começando aqui com o nosso prata negra, né? De onde fala isso que era mesmo? Do Alentejo, eu acho. Delícia. Muito bom. Provado. Sim, Helena, o que você achou do pãozinho?
Eu gosto do pão, porque ele parece miolo de pão.
É mesmo? É maciozinho,
Eu
então?
gosto de miolo de pão.
Testar o pãozinho. Olha que tinha o que? Milho, trigo, o que mais?
The cheese is from Açores.
A Helena não quis testar o queijinho do Açores com marmelada. Cadê uma mordidinha pra testar? Dá uma pontinha.
Goiabada.
É marmelada, né, goiabada? É marmelada.
Marmelada?
Marmela é uma fruta. Muito bom, experimenta, não quer testar? Vou testar agora aqui o queijinho do Açores com marmelada. Nossa, uma delícia, amor. Você testou daqui? Muito bom.
The cheese is São Jorge cheese, the same name as the castle, so like this you don't forget. And São Jorge is one of the 9 islands that compose Açores, which is one of the 2 archipelagos we have in Portugal. And this cheese is a cow cheese that is curated. This cheese can be curated to 24 months and gets really, really strong, really spicy cheese. And I tried 24 months and it was too strong for me, and I like strong cheese. So today you guys ate 4 months cheese, because it's not so spicy like this everyone can enjoy. On the top of it we have queen's marmalade. That's the most traditional marmalade in Portugal. My favorite is queen's marmalade and pumpkin jam. It's my two favorite things in here. And it's just a way for you to try two new things, because in Açores, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you dip this cheese on honey sometimes and you ate it after, which is amazing. Yeah. And then we tried black pork from Alentejo. Black pork, the main characteristics that the skin is black, but what makes the difference and really tasty is that they eat acorn. Acorn is, we call it bolota here, and acorn is a nut that is really fatty, so makes the fat goes all the way, and this breed already has facility to make the fat goes all over the body. So that's why it's so tasty. And this one was curated 12 months. So makes even more special. And then the bread is made with rye, wheat and corn, which makes a bit sweeter, and it's made in a wood oven, and the family brings it here. And today is afternoon, so normally at this time they don't have this bread anymore, and I have to serve another one because people are crazy about this bread. So you guys are really lucky that you tried this. And the wine is a Tony wine from Porto. Have you guys been to Porto?
Yeah.
You probably know.
2 days.
Yeah. Okay. So port wine, I can talk about port wine for hours because it's a lot of things that happens. But to be really more short here, there is two main types of port wine: Tony and Ruby. Ruby is a wine that they don't want a lot of oxygenation, they don't want a lot of contact with the wine and the barrel. So sometimes half of the wine can go to a stainless steel barrel because it's about the taste of the grapes, about having a lot of color, being this ruby color. And it's a really good wine, super young. Maximum can be 3 years in the barrel because of all of these flavors that they want to keep of the grapes. Tony wine, what we're having now, we're having a young Tony. But a Tony, when it's ready to go to the barrel, has to be ready to be there 200 years, because if it's a good year for the grape, it's gonna be colheita, and it can stay there until the producer decides it's time to sell it. So we are having a young Tony. It's still full of color because it's young. It stays tops 5 to 7 years on the barrel. And the idea is to have as much contact as it can with the French oak. So what they do, port wine is a fortified wine. So they start the fermentation of the grapes and they cut the fermentation with brandy. After they cut the fermentation with brandy, the grapes are still sweet, so that's why it's sweeter, and that's why it's stronger. It's 20% alcoholic because they cut the fermentation with brandy, which is not simple alcohol. So after that, they put the Tony on really small barrels, like smaller than that, only to 75%, because like that has as much contact as with the French oak as it can be, and like this gets more flavors, and so it's more aromatic wine. And some people really like more ruby, I like more Tony, so it's about what you guys think. Did you guys like it, this one? Church is a really interesting church, and before you go inside, because you might be a bit confused, I'm gonna give you 3 facts about it. So the first fact is that on 1506 there was a fire. There was a massacre in the city. That a guy that was inside, he decided that the plague, the fever, and the diseases in Portugal was a blame on the Jews. So they killed 4,000 Jews in 3 days in Lisbon, and all started on this church. Right after that, when there was an earthquake in Lisbon in 1755, the wave stopped to be strong around this area, because we can see here that the buildings have the same architecture as when we started, that they look the same. So this means that the wave stopped to be strong around here, and everybody started to say that this church protected the rest of the city. So was known this church as the church that protected the city. Then years after, on 1959, there was a fire inside of this church, and they decided that this was a punishment for what happened almost 500 years ago when they killed the Jews, and they decided to leave it as it was and just reconstruct the ceiling and some walls. So, knowing that we can go inside, if there is no mess, you can go around the outer.
Até hoje a causa não foi descoberta, né, filha? Aqui a gente vai passar na ginginha, amor, depois?
Ai, minha bananinha.
Vamos entrar na igreja?
Vamos aqui.
A gente deu uma paradinha estratégica aqui no vídeo de São Domingo, enquanto o próximo restaurante se prepara para receber a gente. Essa aqui foi aquela igreja que pegou fogo, foi completamente destruída. Na época de reconstrução, eles só fizeram o teto simples, sem pintura, sem nada, mantiveram as paredes queimadas, as colunas, do jeito que ficaram após o incêndio. Uma igreja bem especial, em particular.
Know about this church is that this was the only church that slaves were allowed to go inside and pray, and Portugal had a really big part of slavery in the slavery market, as we know, especially us from Brazil, we know how big this was. And this was the only church that they could come and pray, and the priests from Africa could come and pray the masses in here. So this became an encounter of the African community, so they are always around here because this is where they encounter. And this became the church that a lot of other immigrants would feel welcome at the time, and they choose this church to become. So this is the most busy church in Lisbon. It's 7 masses per day.
No,
It's
7?
really, yeah, it's a lot. And in a lot of languages sometimes. So we can start to walk. I'm gonna go to the more athletic Lisbon. It's not 4 years before, nobody would go in here because it was a bit dangerous and was a lot of marginalized, a lot of drugs. And the mayor was seeing that what happened was not viable because that area was getting too crowded. And what he did, he wanted this area to be better. So he changed his office from there to here. And he put all the police stations, the main police stations in here. And he put a lot of light in every square. So now it's a really good area. The real estate on this area is really high. But 5 years ago, I told my family I was moving here 4 years ago, and they were like, "No, you cannot go. There is only drug people," but it's not at all.
Olha que legal,
But this
gente.
area, because the way that came, because the church protected it.
Aqui, como vocês podem ver, os prédios não são do mesmo tamanho, com as mesmas portas e janelas, porque esses daqui sobreviveram ao terremoto de 1755. Então, essas são estruturas originais, muito mais antigas que a parte reconstruída no século XVIII.
Moraria. They took the thing because today is the first. Okay, so Moraria is written right there. Moraria. And Moura is something related to Moorish because Lisbon was conquered by the Moorish from the 8th to the end of 11th, to the beginning of 11th century. So it was an Arabic city. And the Arabic neighborhood is Alfama because when people couldn't fit in the castle anymore, they moved to Alfama. When the first king of Portugal took over Portugal, the Arabic people were not welcome anymore, but they were not expelled. They could stay in Lisbon. What they have to do, they had to pay taxes, and they were really not well seen by the society anymore because Lisbon now was Catholic. So what they did, they moved here to Moraria. So Moraria is not the Arabic neighborhood, but the Arabic ghetto. And they didn't stay long. They left after a while, and there is not a lot of Arabic communities in Portugal at all. Especially here in Lisbon, there is not. But this became a house of outcasts, of people that workers, people who didn't have a lot of money to live in Alfama or downtown. After years, there was the dictatorship in Portugal, and right when the dictatorship was over, a lot of people of Portugal that were in other countries came back, as long as other people from former colonies came back. And all of these people moved to this neighborhood. And before there was fishermen, prostitution, a lot of bars. It was a bit of a bohemian life. So this is one of the places where Fado was born. So this place has more than 32 nationalities in this place because it's a mix of everything. So what we're gonna see is that really eclectic. And we're gonna walk from this is the beginning to the end when we're gonna finish in Alfama. So this is the Portuguese guitar where they play fado.
A alegria de quem achou o sorvete dos Minhas, que tá esgotado aqui.
Portugal to the world, so she's almost like a goddess in Portugal. Everybody knows her, everybody listens to her. And here we can see how eclectic is this neighborhood. Just a little example, but here we have in this wall all the fado singers. Behind us we have a graffiti of an African mother with the kids. And if we could see on the second window up there, it says Thai massage. So everything works together really good here. It's amazing, I really love it. The famous fado singer, she died really young and there is a lot of mysticism about her. There is a lot of stories. Maybe Severa lived it, maybe Severa didn't, but actually there's facts that she did. She was alive and she lived on this house over here. It's one of the oldest houses in this neighborhood. And Severa was a fado singer and a prostitute. So she would see her clients here and then she would come out and sing fado. And when you sing fado on the street, the name is Fado Vadio. And she's one of the main names of Fado Vadio scene. After she died, they transformed this in a fado club where you can have 8 courses dinner with really good fado. And it's all night long, from 9 to 2 p.m. So you have to be ready to listen to a lot of fado.
Chegamos na nossa segunda parada. E agora tem mesinhas. Embaixo de uma árvore. Cansou?
A descida, a subida que a gente pegou.
É verdade, olha papai morrendo.
Carregou a Kátia, passou.
Morreu, mas passa bem.
We're gonna add one more.
E é esse daqui, o restaurante Jasmine. Vamos ver o que eles prepararam pra gente de especial. Tá gostoso, Kati? Tá bom, Kati? Tá bom?
Qual é do ninho?
É o sino.
Okay. Okay, yep. Well, good now. Okay, so do you guys know how to cheers in Portuguese? Saúde or chin chin? Chin chin. Yeah. Chin chin. We don't give you guys any choices, you have to try it. Because it's a wine from Alentejo for a really small producer. This producer, he doesn't have enough wine to sell. So Miguel was traveling in Alentejo. He met this producer and he convinced the guy after a lot of work that he needed to sell some bottles here. So this is the only place in Lisbon where you can drink this wine. And Alentejo wine is really one of my favorites because Alentejo is really hot in the morning and gets really chill at night. So grapes, when they are in this situation, they mature really more fast than a grape with a stable climate. So these grapes, even though they are really young, they are more mature when they go to become a wine. So that's why there is no aftertaste in this wine. It's not hard to drink. Normally white wine gets a bit almost sparkling in the end, and there is no such a thing on this one. So it's perfect to eat with white meat or fish meat, and it's more like for summer because it's served chill.
Tati, bom? Ó, tá pingando, tá pingando.
Já começou. Isso é massagem de roupa suja.
No, there is black eyed. Oh, obrigada. There is black eyed peas and something else. It's a composed salad. Normally, it's some meat and a grain that can be beans, can be peas, can be
Quer testar, Heleninha?
can be
Ele é o meu.
Que delícia, seu.
Ele achou.
Ah, ele achou?
What do you guys think is it?
Agora a gente tá indo pra um restaurante com influências marroquinas. Vamos ver o que vai ter de bom pra gente lá. Olha aqui a nossa
So if I come out market, you wait for the bell, and then you go there and you get them warm. It's the best. Okay. There is some graffiti in here. I really like this graffiti because it's about this neighborhood has a lot of immigrants, and Portugal still don't have a lot of programs about receiving the refugees. So this is a really political graffiti because this girl represents European Union and she's building a wall, and on her glasses you can see the refugees, and it's really interesting that it's in this neighborhood here. There's a lot of really good graffiti in Portugal. This is one of them. You can go here. You're gonna go up here.
Chegamos na próxima parada.
This is 12. Because you guys can choose what you're going to drink. So I have to spoil the surprise and tell what you're going to eat before. We're going to have samosas. You probably know them from India, but they have a Mozambique twist inside. It's really delicious. And then we're gonna have makuf. Makuf is 100% Mozambique dish. It's 100% vegan, and it's composed by 3 things: coconut rice, vegetable curry, and makuf itself, which I'm not gonna tell what it is because I want you guys to try to guess, because we are making some tests here. Who is good at trying? And for that you guys can drink. Can you give me the first? Thank you so much. I give you the options what you can drink. You can drink national beer, you can drink red wine, white wine, mango juice, or cashew juice. Cashew, the nut. Under the nut of cashew there is a fruit. We eat a lot in Brazil and the juice is amazing. And I always suggest you guys to drink cashew juice if you want to try something new. But it's hot, so I understand if you want a beer or something else. It's no judgment. But if you want to try something new, cashew is amazing. Nobody ever told me that they didn't like it. Normally people get really surprised by it. So by the people from the country brought to someone else, to Europeans, let's say a sushi place that's made for Europeans. This neighborhood, like I said, was a neighborhood of a lot of people who came here to work, and this community, especially Mozambique community, live in this neighborhood. So this was the place they would come to feel like home. And around 7-8 years ago, people that are not from Mozambique started to come here and love the food. And this became a really known restaurant. There is a lot of awards, and the chef is Chef Jenny, is that woman over there. She's married with Aziz. The name of this place is Corner of Aziz. Aziz was that boy that is really chicken, now he's a growing man. And they get a lot of awards of really good food, and they open a restaurant in Leeds, and they have a pop-up store in New York, and they're always invited by chefs around the world to do a pop-up store of Mozambique food. And they still live on the 2nd floor here. They are not here right now. I think she's in New York. I was checking on her Instagram. But normally they're around here, and there is a family business. The family, everybody will say meat, and they will like vegetable more.
Baby, put it there.
Yeah, put it. Yes. Okay, so what we can do here is you get a meat one, he gets a vegetable one, and you can cut in the middle. Okay, thank you. Aí aqui você pode pegar essa. E você pega essa. Aí você pega uma dessa. E eu pego uma dessa aqui. E a gente divide depois. Pra você provar as coisas. Ok, mega this. And then. Ok. Muito obrigada.
Qual que é o nome disso daqui, Thaís?
This chamuça.
Chamuça.
Samosas.
Essa daqui é de carne. Essa
And you
daqui
can
é
get
de
these, and then you guys cut in the middle and share with each other.
Olha aqui, são legumes com curry, ela falou, então tem abobrinha, vagem, brócolis. E aqui, o que é isso aqui?
This is makuf.
Makuf. que...
Eu
sei
não
lá,
vou falar o que é.
sei lá.
É
uma
bom,
cookie
é bom, é
aqui.
bom. Okay, so peel and you can put it
Meu é
more.
de milho.
It's really delicious. And
Então aqui é uma... Não gostou? Vamos de caju da Nena pra você testar o da Nena. Então aqui é o arroz aromatizado com coco. Aqui é couve com caldinho de coco.
Bebi água. E óleo de amendoim.
Ah,
Esse é
então.
um pesto africano.
Ah,
Papai, não gostou o suco
de manga? Não gostou? Toma água
I
então.
like the mango juice.
A gente beija.
Jama.
Então tá bom. Cuidado pra não derrubar esse suco aí. Acabamos de testar aqui os pratos. Adorei, comi tudo.
Eu não comi.
Não é uma coisa que a gente fosse procurar, né, amor?
Não, mas a comida é boa.
Muito boa. Comida moçambicana, na verdade. Eu falei Marrocos, mas não é Moçambique.
Simplesinha, mas bem temperada, né?
Olha, aqui foi o que sobrou. Esse prato aqui eu até esqueci o nome, mas é com leite de coco, couve e amendoim. Aí tem um outro que é tipo um ensopado de legumes. E aquele que parece um pastelzinho, um rolinho primavera, cheio de carne e de legumes. E é aqui, gente, no Lago dos Trigueiros, que fica aqui o cantinho do Aziz. Com o prato aqui é uma couve que a gente comeu. E olha só, aqui foi considerado o melhor prato em Portugal pela Canal. Todo mundo acha muito bom o restaurante. Ele tem filial nos Estados Unidos, em Nova York. Uma delícia mesmo. A árvore que a Kati achou é uma árvore que tá com uma roupinha, né, Kati? Ela tá com uma roupinha de crochê. Tá toda decorada. Agora nós estamos indo pra onde, Heleninha?
Alfama.
Alfama. Vamos ter 15 minutos de caminhada até chegar em Alfama. A parte boa é que são as descidas agora, né? Porque a gente já subiu pra caramba, né,
So
filha?
this is where she took pictures of all the elderly of this street because she wanted to register them because soon they're not gonna be here. Not because they're old, because of gentrification. Because these apartments has been bought, so they're not here anymore. So she realized to register any of them. I have some of my favorites, but we can see that they are part of this neighborhood, and this makes you want to meet all of them. So we see here Dona Antonia, and we can see that the crack on the window is this window, but she doesn't live here anymore. So it's already, yeah. And then I love Don Quixote and Sir Carlos. Don Quixote is the dog. I love it. And then Antonio, the little guy, because he's small, baixinho. And this will be me if I keep doing this tour because I'm getting fat and this is my cat Maria. So this is my future. Every character of this graffiti is someone from this neighborhood that is part of this. And all of them are alive except for the lady. The lady is Severa.
Kati! Oi?
Five of them are really old and two of them are modern ones. And these, we are close to the two of them. And Lisbon is known for 7 hills, but not each hill has an elevator. In this case, to go to the castle, there is 2 elevators. One on that building right there, that there is 3 doors, and it's one elevator that takes you from Baixa up here to where we are right now. And then the other one, you go inside of the supermarket, and then you're gonna go up, and it's gonna help you to go to the castle. From there, you're gonna be really close to the castle. So these are 2 shortcuts, and it's the 2 of the only elevators who are like modern. This is a statement. This church is the big statement because Portugal was Moorish. And this is the entrance of the Arabic neighborhood. So naturally, before this, there was a mosque. As soon as the first king took over Portugal, he put the mosque down and built that as a statement. Now this country is Catholic.
Tinha uma mesquita aqui.
So this church is from 1146. Really old. So passed to a lot of things, passed to the earthquake. So what happened? Every time it will be destroyed, they had to reconstruct again, and they will add a new style. So the main style is Romanic, but there is a lot of stuff. And then there is a bit of Manuelito style, which is a really romantic style that doesn't fit at all. So church is like a Frankenstein, kind of. We're gonna walk on the side and you guys gonna see how different it gets. Yeah, let's go. Almost in Alfama. Alfama has 8 arches like that all around Alfama. And this was a way that the Arabic people found of not building a wall, but like building houses, and under the houses the arches, and on these arches will be gates. And like this they had control who is coming inside, who is not. And where the cars pass now was the river. The river was way inside of the city before. So these arches has a lot of history, and this one in particular has a really big history because on this arch Afonso Henriques took over Portugal. It's the arch that they invaded, and we can see by the name Arch of Jesus that they changed the name. Is another statement of Catholic city. So yes, of why all the city fell down, because they were not elastic at all. And when the Marquês de Pombal was reconstructing the city, he invaded the Pombalina cage, which is a structure of wood that he tested with the army. And between the wood, he put small rocks. So if there was another earthquake, the buildings they would move, but they would not fall straight, so it wouldn't be so dangerous. So this building resisted earthquake. But then what they did, the places that resisted, they will construct on the top. So we can see how different it gets on the top, because that was constructed after. Or they had to move somewhere, and they could move anywhere in Lisbon, but they decided to move to Alfama. And it's because here is on a hill, so every house could enjoy the maximum they could of the sunlight. And there is another, when you are in a hill, you can see what's happening on the river, which is really important if you're gonna be attacked. And there is another fact that is really important. There was really good water underneath. They knew for a fact there was really good water in here, and really hot springs that they could do the hammam. Hammam is the Turkish bath. So they call it this neighborhood Al Hammam. And when the king took over, Al Hammam transformed it to Alfama. So that's it.
Olha que legal. Bem fresquinho aqui.
Okay, she's gonna serve the wine. She's gonna give you the bag. I forgot.
Deixa eu ver, mãe.
Okay, so we are in Muralha. Muralha means wall, and this is actually under an ancient wall that there was 5 fortresses in Lisbon on the 15th century. They are not here anymore. There is a piece of that in Alfama we just passed by, and that part of there is the rest of the wall, some part of it. So that's the name is Muralha. And here they have more than 100 wines on the perfect condition for you to drink. They choose today one wine from Torres Vedras. It's a bit outside of Portugal, and it's an area that is right in front of the beach. So it's a wine with sandy soil, and when wines has sandy soil, they change a lot after they open, because the oxygenation makes they get the minerals, and the first 5-minute sip is gonna taste totally different from the 15-minute sip. So you guys are gonna try a wine that's kind of like 3 wines, and then you have the 99 rest of the wines to try here when you come back. And canned sardines.
Olha, as sardinhas lá, você vai experimentar.
If you don't like canned sardines, give these ones a try, because normally here everybody changes their minds about sardines. So I know sardines are really fishy, and people think bad things about sardines. Can you take that? Put 2 canned sardines. And the 2 stores are in front of the fish market. So they are the first ones to choose the sardine. And the olive oil and the tomato sauce that goes in is a really good quality, and the can has a coat around. So it's not as fishy as the sardines you are thinking, and they're way more fat. And this octopus salad has the same marination as the cod salad that we tried. So you guys can go for it. Some spices that are more Arabic, They put cumin, a bit of cloves, and a bit of cinnamon, and they put flour, so makes cakey. Normally, blood sausage is more, more tough. And this one is like a cake.
A Heleninha vai experimentar uma morcela agora. Quero ver essa boca aberta aí.
A Helena vai gostar?
A Helena vai gostar?
Acho.
E você quer comer? Pãozinho só, né?
Ela de moça porque...
Deixa eu ver, Helena, você comendo pra mamãe. E aí?
Morcela, hein? Temperada, né?
O que você achou, filho?
Pãozinho, mais um.
Tá bom?
Eu vou jogar agora.
Of Óbidos is 1 hour and 10 minutes from Lisbon, and it's sweet sour cherry. Okay, so this is our last stop, our dessert time. Yes. We are here, and the name of this place is Fábrica Pastel Feijão. Pastel de feijão is a bean cake, a bean pastry, and for me from Brazil, this is weird that we eat beans on a cake. But it's really, really delicious, I promise. And this dessert you can find in every bakery of Portugal, basically. And they have the shape of the custard tarts, but inside is the bean filling. And Chef Amorim, he's a really famous chef here, has really 3 good restaurants. And he went to Torres Vedras, where this dessert is from. And he thought that this dessert was not at its best. So he decided to redo the dessert in a way that would be more tasty, the pastry would taste better, and the filling would be more wet. This is what he was looking for. So he remade the dessert, and the shape is like that now. There is 2 really thin pastries on each side, and these 2 pastries, they taste really good because they're caramelized. And on the middle is egg yolks, sugar, and white beans. And it's really, really moist. I'm gonna explain why later. This dessert is what it is. But I want you guys to choose what you wanna drink. We have coffee with milk, juice, water, sparkling water. So just bean cake.
Olha só, aqui é o pastel de feijão que a gente vai experimentar agora.
Eu
Quer
quero.
dar uma mordidinha?
Vai dar pra você, toma.
Caiu na minha roupa, caiu na minha roupa.
Agora eu vou
Pega, Kátia.
atrapalhada.
Caiu na roupa. Você que vai pegar ele.
Kátia.
Não, mamãe, você que vai pegar.
Morde.
Foi você.
Tá, Léo, que não vai
Morde,
querer.
vê se você gosta.
Dá uma mordidinha aí.
Docinho. Olha, sorte dela.
Prova.
Vou ver se parece. Uma delícia.
Mãe, mãe.
Vai experimentar, Kátia?
Pra você, nena.
Vai no futuro. Dá uma mordidinha, Kátia.
Gostei. Gostei.
Tá bom.
Gostei.
Bom, né, Kátia?
Um beijo no seu coração e até o próximo vídeo. Tchau. Já deixe o seu like e se